Assalamualaikum and good evening. You're now with me, Yusuf Shukri, for TVS Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. Palestinian official reported that Hamas negotiators in Cairo, Egypt, had received a new proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza, calling for a 60-day truce and hostage release in 2 batches, without providing more details. The proposal included demands for Hamas to disarm, for the Palestinian Authority to administer Gaza. Federal government maintains the SST tax with an expanded scope, and the expanded SST has been designed to be targeted and progressive to ensure that the tax burden is distributed more fairly and borne by those with the capacity to pay. And Sarawak continues to make a name in the eye of the world after it was chosen by LONGI to become a green energy innovation hub. More on this coming up next. Sarawak continues its stride on international investment when LONGI, a world-class leader in clean energy, had stated its commitment in transforming the region into a green energy innovation hub. After paying courtesy call to the Premier of Sarawak, LONGI's President Lee Cheng Kuo expressed that his work visit to Sarawak was to further strengthen the company's long-term commitment to the region. Through his translator Chang Hai Meng, who is also the Vice President of LONGI Group, Cheng Kuo expressed his interest to work with Malaysia as it enters its transition phase for a brand new business chapter in Malaysia, transforming Sarawak not only as a production hub, but also as an innovation hub. Since its first operation in Sarawak 10 years ago, LONGI now operates 12 factories located throughout Sarawak with over 6,000 workers.
In the stage of transition and charter a new chapter for us in Malaysia going forward. Part of that is we want to make our Malaysian business not just a production hub, but also an innovation hub. The humble start of a small factory in Kuching, we have in the peak time more than 6,000 employees in Malaysia. So thanks to the stable governance and the hardworking and talented employees in Malaysia.
At the same time, Cheng Kuo also expressed that LONGI faced challenges due to changes in trade policies and global geopolitical uncertainties over the past 2 to 3 years. To remain competitive in the United States market and other countries, the company is currently undergoing restructuring to ensure more sustainable operations, compliance with international standards, and long-term resilience. Sarawak's much-anticipated archive building will introduce a digitalized document storing system that integrates robotic technology and will be featured during the International Council on Archives ICA conference in 2027. CEO of Pustaka Negeri Sarawak, Japri Bujang Masli, revealed the system will be known as the Archival Storage and Retrieval System, a first of its kind in Malaysia. He said the building is expected to be completed by mid-year in 2026.
Jadi tahun depan mungkin kita boleh perkemaskan sistem ini dan bila tahun 2027 sampai ia boleh dikongsikan dengan peserta-peserta yang hadir ke konferensi berkenaan untuk menunjukkan aplikasi teknologi terkini dan juga untuk berkongsi ilmu pengetahuan dengan pengamal-pengamal akhir dari seluruh dunia. Jadi perkara ini kita melihat sebagai satu perkara yang amat penting sebab tuan-puan sedia maklum akib menyimpan rekod awam iaitu fail dan dokumen kerajaan.
After paying a courtesy call to the Premier, Japri also revealed that the system is not only efficient in document storing and management, but also ensures the government's transparency and accountability when storing public documents.
Jadi nanti 10 tahun, 50 tahun bila ada isu yang timbul, bolehlah rekod ini dirujuk balik di Pusaka Negeri untuk kita melihat apa sebenarnya yang berlaku supaya ia dapat merungkai apa-apa persoalan yang timbul pada bila-bila masa.
Additionally, Kuching City is set to host ICA 2027 after winning the bid against Bogota, Colombia and Johannesburg, South Africa. The honor is a global recognition to Malaysia, said the Director General of the National Archives of Malaysia, Dato' Jaafar Sideh Abdul Rahman, setting Sarawak as the stage for more than 1,000 delegates from 109 countries. ICA 2027 will focus on electronic record management and the involvement of young archivists.
Pendigitalan merupakan sebahagian pada proses dalam menguruskan maklumat di peringkat dunia. Jadi sama ada arsip ataupun perpustakaan, jadi pendekatan pendigitalan merupakan pendekatan yang paling baik untuk membantu penggaraan bahan dan juga untuk penyebaran maklumat. Jadi di sini bukan sengaja untuk memelihara heritage, tapi membolehkan pertembungan arkivis daripada seluruh dunia. Dan kita juga cuba mempromosikan Pustaka Sarawak dan arsip yang ada di Sarawak kepada peringkat yang lebih tinggi.
Now, to combat bullying, it must start at a young age. His Majesty the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim decreed that if left unchecked, it could risk producing a generation that lacks respect and compassion. And this negative culture will then lead to an emotional and mental disorder to the victim, which later would cause various unwanted incidents. In his royal statement, the king also decreed that the government must launch continuous and holistic anti-bullying campaigns to students as early as primary 1. His Majesty firmly stated that the Penal Code Amendment Act 2025 and the Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Act 2025 are evidence of the government's commitment to firmly combat and address the issue. Earlier, His Majesty graciously granted an audience to the Minister of Communications, Dato' Fahmi Fazil, at Istana Negara on Monday. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Communications is committed to heeding His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim, King of Malaysia's decree to prevent bullying beginning at the primary school level. Its Minister Dato' Fahmi Fazil in a statement said that the ministry is rolling out a comprehensive national anti-bullying awareness campaign across television, radio, social media and digital platforms. Apart from that, the ministry is also coordinating cross-ministerial follow-up actions to ensure the anti-bullying message reaches students, parents and the wider community in an integrated manner. Fahmi said the campaign also emphasizes embedding values of respect, discipline and compassion into government strategic communication and community programs. The Attorney General's Chambers, AGC, has decided to charge several suspects involved in the bullying case of Form 1 student Zara Khairina Mahathir. In a statement today, the AGC informed that it had reviewed the investigation papers related to Zara Khairina's death, which were submitted to the Royal Malaysia Police PDRM, and has decided to charge several suspects based on the available evidence. The AGC stated that the decision to press charges for the offence of bullying was made as the charges will not interfere with the inquest proceedings that are set to take place. And the AGC also emphasized that charging the suspects will not affect the ongoing investigation by PDRM, including the inquest proceedings in court. Still on the same development, the Coroner's Court in Kota Kinabalu has set the date for the inquest proceedings to investigate the cause of the death of teenager Zara Khairina, which will begin on September 3rd. Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail announced that the inquest will run over several days on September 3rd and 4th, 8th, 9th and 10th, and will continue from September 22nd to 30th.
Inquest akan dimulakan pada 3 dan 4 September, 8, 9 dan 10 September, diikuti 22 hingga 39 September. Hal ini kita buat atas satu saja niat, untuk mencari kebenaran dan menegakkan keadilan dalam konteks episod ini.
At the same time, Saifuddin also confirmed that the police have submitted the investigation findings of the case to the Attorney General's Chambers this morning for further action. He explained that the investigation was conducted thoroughly, including reviewing the victim's personal diary. The investigation revealed several critical elements that require serious attention, among them bullying, neglect and sexual harassment.
Saya tak tolak daripada membaca pertuduhan itu ada elemen buli. Ya, saya nak sebut ada elemen buli. Jelas. Sebab itu pihak kita juga sama. Tak boleh ada usaha ataupun percubaan menutup kalau ada elemen buli sekolah, tempat yang patut jadi tempat selamat untuk anak-anak kita. Para pentadbir sekolah harus diingatkan. Kalau ada insiden ini bawa ke tengah. Sebab itu siasatan kita menjurus hala tujunya kepada elemen buli. Ya. Yang sudah pun kita lengkapkan siasatan itu. Ya. Ada elemen pengabaian kerana adik ini ada membuat aduan kepada pihak sekolah. Ada. Kita siasat di bawah elemen pengabaian. Ada elemen gangguan seksual. Kita siasat juga. Demikian banyak terpulang peguam negara untuk menetapkan hala tuju sama ada tuduhan itu dapat dibuat atau tidak.
Now, 16 demands under the Malaysian Agreement 1963 or MA63 out of 29 are still under review by the Technical Committee of the Malaysian Agreement 1963 Implementation Action Council or MTPM A63. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadilah Yusof said the demands involve issues related to education, healthcare, oil royalties, petroleum cash payments, oil minerals and fuels, the Territorial Sea Act 2012 Act 750, as well as state rights over the continental shelf. He said 13 claims have been resolved, 9 under the Madani government and 4 during the previous administration.
Kerajaan Madani, manakala baki 4 tuntutan telah mencapai persetujuan di bawah kerajaan terdahulu. Antara tuntutan yang telah diselesaikan di bawah pentadbiran Kerajaan Madani adalah seperti berikut. Pertamanya, pengiktirafan Jabatan Kerja Raya dan Jabatan Pengairan dan Saliran Negeri Sabah Sarawak sebagai jabatan teknik di bawah arahan perbendaharaan AP 182. Kedua, pindaan Akta Lembaga Hasil Dalam Negeri 1995 bagi melantik Wakil Kerajaan Negeri Sabah dan Sarawak sebagai anggota tetap LHDN. Ketiga, penyerahan kuasa kawasan elektrik kepada Kerajaan Negeri Sabah. Keempat, tenaga buruh di Negeri Sabah dan Sarawak, pindaan Ordinan Buruh Sabah dan Ordinan Buruh Sarawak.
Fadilah said the MTPMA 63, chaired by the Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, was established to review the demands submitted by the Sabah and Sarawak state governments based on the legal framework and implementation of the agreed-upon claims. He reiterated both Sabah and Sarawak state governments are ever ready to discuss any matter pertaining to operations, human resources and finances before a claim under the MA63 can be resolved. Over on World News, Hamas has received a new ceasefire proposal from Egyptian and Qatari mediators that calls for a 60-day truce in Gaza and the release of all hostages in 2 phases. According to an Egyptian security source which want to remain anonymous, the new proposal calls for starting negotiations on a permanent ceasefire is based on the proposals of Egypt and U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff. He added that the proposal includes demands for Hamas to disarm and for the Palestinian Authority to administer Gaza. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati, who spoke alongside Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Mustafa, said Cairo opposed impossible conditions in the negotiations and stressed the need for a permanent ceasefire. He noted that Witkoff's plan includes a 60-day truce. Meanwhile, Qatari Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman bin Jassim Al Thani also travelled to Egypt on Monday for meetings with mediators as efforts continue. In the same development, a Palestinian official reported that Hamas negotiators in Cairo had received a new proposal for a ceasefire in Gaza, calling for a 60-day truce and hostage release in 2 batches without providing more details. Indirect talks between Israel and Hamas in Doha collapsed in late July without a deal. Israel has since said it intends to launch a new offensive to seize full control of Gaza City. And that's all the time we have for tonight's TVS Nightline. Once again, I'm Yusuf Shukri. Thank you for watching. Good night and Assalamu Alaikum.